Holy moly. Well, all right, Joe Biden, listen. I have this stash account. I don't know much about how to operate this stash account. I opened up this stash account with $50, okay, a couple of years ago. And I did all of what I needed to do to set it up, chose the options that I wanted. And I haven't really looked at this stash account. I haven't. I have not looked at this stash account. Maybe it was more than a couple of years ago. Maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago. I haven't done anything. I've done the bare minimum. And I'm looking at this stash account and I'm like, well, all right, Joe Biden. But listen, that's not why we're here. This is why we're here. Their president killed the funding bill yesterday. And then him and his vice president, Donald Trump, they presented their own bill. And then the Republicans voted against that bill. So now there's currently no bill, no continuing resolution that will keep the government open. If there's nothing put into place by midnight tonight, the government will shut down. Elect a clown, you get a fucking circus. But I want to talk about some of the things. I want you all to know some of the things that was in the original bill that President Musk and Vice President Donald Trump, that they killed. Okay? So, first and foremost, what was included in that bill was all of the funding needed to keep the government running, meaning Social Security recipients will continue to get their money, their benefits, their resources needed to continue to live, right? Our military personnel will continue to get paid. Our federal employees will continue to get paid, right? Those types of things are given with the bill. But in addition to that, what was included in the bill was $100 billion, which was slated for disaster relief, okay? And 29 billion of that 100 billion was going to go to funding up FEMA, because remember, we briefly talked about it, how Republicans have been slowly trying to snuff out FEMA. FEMA, which helps those who are out in the world, not in the world, in the United States, here in the United States, who are dealing with some type of hardship as a result of natural disasters. We can talk about Hurricane Helene and Milton, right? They totally destroyed some areas out in the Carolinas and in Florida, right? And we've been getting these storms, fast and furious. They've been coming more frequently and they've been more destructive, which is why funding needs to continuously happen for our FEMA division, department, however you want to call it. So 29 billion was slated for FEMA. Okay, and FEMA covers all types of natural disasters, to hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, floods, all of that jazz, okay? And 2.2 billion was going to help Small Business Administration and their disaster relief fund. Okay, and then 21 billion was going to go towards farmers, disaster relief for farmers, okay? And then 3.5 billion was going to go for state and tribal assistance, right? They need some assistance with the repair of their water systems, which were damaged by said disasters, storms, floods, tornadoes, that type of thing. Okay? And then there was going to be 8 billion slated for the repair of roads, federal roads and federal highways. That was a part of the continuing resolution. Okay? In addition to that, there was funding in that continuing resolution that will go to telehealth services. There was this telehealth program that was put together as a result of COVID-19, the pandemic, right? And so there was funding available to continue that type of program because that program was being used by our disabled population and our elderly population. In addition to those two communities, individuals who live in rural areas were able to take advantage of this program. You know, you call up your doctor, you set up an appointment. Instead of having to go into the doctor's office, you log in to your doctor's office by way of computer screen. If you're sick, you discuss your symptoms, all of that jazz. You have a full doctor's appointment by way of computer screen. And that helped our disabled population who find it difficult to get from A to point B to point C. It was beneficial for our elderly population who are immunocompromised population who can't be in large crowds, or back to the senior population who don't have transportation to get to and from doctor's offices like that. Not everybody can afford a private nurse or a home health aide to help them to get to these types of appointments. And so Joe Biden created this telehealth program during when he took over for the COVID-19 pandemic situation, and it helped these individuals. Funding to continue to extend that program was included in this continuing resolution. Funding to help research for kids with cancer. Yeah, Elon Musk and Donald Trump rose up to kill this bill that included funding for research for kids with cancer and some other type of program benefits with to help and assist kids with cancer. Now, the continuing resolution included other things like funding to assist Baltimore to repair that bridge that was torn down. Y'all remember maybe about a year ago, if that long. Yeah, some funding went to help with that. And yeah, funding was put aside to provide congressmen and women with raises. Why? Y'all can't get shit done. How are y'all giving y'all self a raise and denying the increase of the minimum wage for everyday Americans? How are y'all doing that? Anyway, you elect a clown, you get a circus.